Yeah, so recording is on. So today we have few more new participants. So one is Rasraj Gorprabhu from Greater Noida, it's near Delhi, and one Prabhu Abhinandan Nitai Prabhu from Belgaum, Maharashtra. Belgaum is in Maharashtra, right? I think so.
I
Belgaum is in Karnataka.
Karnataka.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, sorry, means I've never been so. So Belgaum is in
No problem.
Karnataka, so one from Prabhu from Karnataka, and Ashwarya Mataji from Noida. So these are quite uh, curious and inquisitive and Sanskrit lovers. So we welcome them all. So we hope that you have gone through the newcomers. They have gone through the materials, the videos which we had shared in our group. And if you have not somehow, then we'll be discussing things. And wherever you feel to ask something, you are free to ask. You please unmute yourself whenever you want to speak, whether asking or whether any comment or whether anything. Otherwise, you may, just mute yourself so that it doesn't create any noise. Okay, so we are here studying Jiva Goswami's grammar in a simple way so that we can digest it all. And this is Laghu Harinama Vritti Vyakaranam. As you can see, our group name is Laghu HNV. So HNV means Harinama Vritti Vyakaranam and Laghu means the shorter version. So there are three versions basically. One is Brihat version, second is Madhyama, and third is Laghu. So the original is the Brihat version, which contains around 3200 sutras. Then uh, Gopi Prandhan Prabhu's in Gopi Prandhan Prabhu's school, who was Srila Prabhupada's disciple, they had compiled a Madhyama version of Harinamamrit Vyakaranam with around 1200 sutras, if I'm not wrong. So that is known as Madhyama version. And the original Harinamamrit Vyakaran was written by Rupa Goswami, which contained around 7 to 800 sutras, and that was known as Laghu Harinamamrit Vyakaranam, which you see here. So, so what we are studying, so our book, the basis is the Laghu Harinamamrit Vyakaranam which Rupa Goswami wrote, and so we are trying to study with sutras in a simple way. So we had studied Sandhi. So, and Sandhi happens in either of three ways. These three ways. First is Agama, second is Adesha, and third is Lopa. So previously I didn't show you any example for Agama, but I have got one uh, example for this also. So sun, yeah. So there are two words, sun and Abhyaya. So I'm telling about Agama insertion. So when such combination happens, then we add an additional n between this n and a. So it becomes San Avyaya. So this is a famous shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Ajoti San Avyayatma. So this is an example of Agama. Another example could be Swamin Yati in Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. So there also the same thing. We reduplicate the n and one more n appears, is inserted. So it becomes Swamin Niti. So this likewise. Okay. So we were studying the first sandhi, which is known as the Dirgha Sandhi. I'll just remove it. So the sutra for this sandhi is Dashavatara Ekatmake Militva Trivikramaha. So you need to memorize this. Dashavatara Ekatmake. This is the sutra from Jiva Goswami's grammar. Now here you need to know what is Dashavatara. what is Ekatmaka, and what is Trivikrama. So these were the definitions which we covered in the first video. So can anyone tell what is Dashavatara? If not Sutra, then simple. What are Dashavataras? What are the components? Anyone? What is Dashavatara?
Dashavatara is first 10 Sarveshwara.
First 10 vowels of the Sarveshwara.
Yeah.
First 10 Sarveshwaras. Yes. What is Ekatmaka?
Ekatmaka is the pair Advay, Udvay. So do these pair Idvay. These pairs
Yeah.
are known as Ekatmaka.
So Ekatmaka is basically okay, let me just show it to you. So here is the chart. So Dashavatara is from A to the long Ri. This is Dashavatara. Then Ekatmaka means the 5 pairs of Dashavatara, not of Sarveshwara, but only of Dashavatara. The 5 pairs of 2 each, like A, E, and so on, they are Ekatmakas. So I told you Ekatmaka means, it means one soul, 2 bodies, literally. So A and A are same, only 2 forms are there, 2 different forms. So this is Ekatmaka. And what is Trivikrama?
Trivikrama is the Dirgha.
Dirgha letter or the long letter. This is like the long vowels, A, E, U, and so on. And these 4 are all, sorry, these 4 are all Trivikrama. I'll update it and post it in the book. So the meaning is, when a Dashavatara is followed by its Ekatmaka, it joins with the Ekatmaka and becomes Trivikrama. When a Dashavatara, let's say here in the first case, this is Dashavatara, and it is followed by its Ekatmaka. So A is an Ekatmaka of A. Then it joins with the Ekatmaka. They both join. That's why we have this additional, addition sign symbol, and it becomes Trivikrama. This is the sutra. So Dashavatara Ekatmake Militva Trivikramaha. When a Dashavatara like A, E, or any of the Dashavatara, it can be long one, it can be short one. When it is followed by its Ekatmaka, its own Ekatmaka, not other Ekatmakas. A is the Ekatmaka for A is A or A and nothing else. We cannot put E here like this, no. Likewise, then they join together and they become Trivikrama. So this is the sutra. So we did 3 sandhis in Dirgha Sandhi, these ones. Then for Idvayas, we did for Udvayas. Today we'll do for, okay, then it becomes, no. So this is Ritvaya plus Ritvaya, then it becomes the long Ri. So the example could be Nara Dha Tr Rishi. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So the example is Nara Bhratri Rishi. I think everyone is able to see the screen I'm sharing. So Narabhratra Rishihi. So here we have a short ri and then a short ri again. So they combine together and they become Narabhratra Rishihi. Yeah. So they join together and become the long ri, Narabhratra Rishihi. Likewise. So yeah. And this is not so much appearing. It's quite a rare sandhi. Yeah, this one is quite a rare sandhi. Only few examples to be seen. So for the time being, we'll only do the one example. And when we get more examples, we'll study more. And then, yeah, that's all for Dirgha Sandhi. Now we'll move ahead to next Sandhi, which is Guna Sandhi. This is interesting actually. So in Guna Sandhi, mm, first example is Advaya Midvaya A. If we have Advaya plus Idvaya, then it becomes A. If we have Advaya plus Idvaya, okay, so for the newcomers, if you are having any difficulty understanding what are these dvayas, what is this plus sign, you can freely ask. Please don't feel shy. We are here to understand and grasp the thing. So, and we are here to uncover the thing, not to cover the course. So, if you are not able to understand what is this advayas, what is this plus sign, all these things, so you may ask freely. So, if we have advaya plus idvaya, then the combination of it becomes A. For example, Nara. Indra. So can anyone tell what can it become? We have
Narendra.
Yeah, it becomes Narendra. A car and e car joins together to make it's Narendra. Another example could be any more examples?
Nara Isha.
Okay, Nara. Oh, this is long I again. Not again. Isha. So, any guess? Any answers?
Naresh.
Naresha. Very simple and well-knowing words. Any further examples? Okay, Rama, Isha. What would be the answer?
Ramesh.
Yeah, this is Ramesh. Okay, here also we have got four possibilities. First is short a plus short e, then they become a. Then we have short a plus long e, then it also becomes a. Then we have long a and a long e, then it also becomes a. So Rama Isha is Ramesha. Another example with a long R and can we get one करेंगे? Okay, so long R with a short E. Any example for this? long A in the beginning and short E at the second place. And any example for this? Or is anyone able to remember something? Mm, okay, let's say just random example I'm giving. Tada yukta iva. Something like that. Tada yukta iva. Then what would be the form here?
Tadeva.
Tadeva. Of course, there is nothing like this. Tadeva. But still, just to fill up the example. So yeah, Tadeva. Yeah. So these.
I have
This
a
is
question.
Uh-huh.
Like Ramesh, I had the notion that Rama plus Isha.
Rama, Rama.
But how can one know that really it combined with long A and short E, or short A, long E?
So
Is it possible to know that, or one has to know?
basically, we were discussing this morning with one devotee about this, that to be able to recognize such words, whether it is a short A or a long A, one needs to know the basic vocabularies of Sanskrit terminologies, the Sanskrit words. And that vocabulary is gained by our gradual and regular study of Sanskrit verses, the word-to-word meanings, especially which Prabhupada gave in his books. The word-to-word meanings. So if we study them carefully, then we'll be able to know that in general, Rama means everyone knows in general
Yeah,
that
Sita,
Rama means Lakshmi. Lakshmi's another name is Rama. So if anyone is assuming it to be Rama, so Rama doesn't mean anything in itself. It's not a proper noun, but Rama is. So if someone assumes here it to be Nara, Nara doesn't mean anything. It means Nara. So it needs some basic vocabulary, and it needs, a person to spend some time with the language, and then gradually he will be able to know all such terminologies, all such vocabularies. And initially, it may look, little difficult to grasp that what does it mean, because now we are uh, learning, so it looks easy, Nara plus Indra, so Narendra. But when we see something like Naresha or even some difficult words, then to undo the sandhi, it becomes quite difficult. But of course, with some practice and some regularity in the language, some efforts in that direction, we'll be able to know the vocabulary. And that's why we are here for. We're trying to study the sandhi, the theoretical part, and the practical part by studying the shlokas. So in this course, if anyone has got any question, any comment, then you may freely ask so that all the doubts can be clarified. And also in your personal study, if you get across any word which you are not able to uh, understand, from the grammatical point of view, then you may also ask. Okay, so that was the first part. Then next is Advaya plus Udvaya. Then it becomes O. For example, a short A with a short U becomes O. Any example for this? Very famous. Nara Uttama. Any answer?
Narottama.
Yeah, this is very simple. Narottama. So see, when we wrote A plus U, it means the letter A at the end of this first word plus the letter U at the beginning, in the beginning of the second word. Then this U and this A combine together to make it O, so it becomes Narottama. Okay. Second possibility is a short A with a long U becomes O. Any example for this? Okay, so we'll just use some random example here. Let's say Krishna Krishna Muda. Just a random example. Then it will become, any guess?
Krishnodha.
Krishnodha. Yeah, Krishnodha. Third is a long A with a short U becomes O. Example for this can be Radhika Utsava. Or let's put it like this. Maha Utsava. This is very prominent. Maha Utsava. Then what does it become?
Mahotsava.
Yeah, Mahotsava. 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 Then the fourth possibility can be a long A with the long U, which becomes O. Example could be Uda. So it becomes Radhi Uda. Uda. Yes. So these were the four possibilities in the second Guna Sandhi. So Advaya plus Udvaya becomes O. Then the third part is Advaya plus Hridvaya becomes Ar. This is a little different result here. It becomes Ar. So example can be okay. So we'll use from some Jiva Goswamis. Krishna Riddhi. Krishna Riddhi. So here we have A at the first place and Ri at the second place. So it will turn into Krishnardhi. Krishnardhi. This is a little difficult to undo when it comes into picture. Like if someone sees the word Krishnardhi, okay. If someone says Mahotsav, then it may be easy to apprehend, oh, that it means Maha and Utsava and things like that. Narottam can be easily undone with Nara and Uttama, two words. But when it comes to words like Krishnardhi, then it becomes little difficult to differentiate, to classify two different words here. But the two words are Krishna and Riddhi. Riddhi means Samriddhi. Riddhi means opulence, Samriddhi, opulence, and like that. So Krishna Riddhi. Just 1 minute. You are able to see the screen, right? Yes. So another example could be 1 minute. Any more example for this? Or
Maharishi.
okay, that's a good one. Maha Rishi. Yes, this is very Maha Rishi. A long A with a short R. It becomes, any guess?
Maharshi.
Maharshi. Yes. Maharshi. Similarly, it can be Deva Yukta Rishi. Then the word will be Devarshi. You know, Devarshi comes from Deva and Rishi. So Maharshi, Devarshi, and
Rajarshi.
even Rajarshi. So it's Raja, Yukta, Rishi. So again the same rule, and it becomes Rajarshi. Yeah. Any further examples? I think it's okay. So yes. Any questions till now? Any questions?
No,
Okay.
bro. It's clear.
Some quick test. Okay, what will be the form?
Chaiti. Cheti.
This will be Cheti. Okay. And here?
Upendra.
Upendra.
Yeah, this will be Upendra. And okay. And here?
Maheshwara.
Yeah. Okay. A quick text for the second one. Here?
Upadesha.
Hmm?
Hitopadesha.
Hitopadesha. This is a book. Hitopadesha. Another example could be Guna Upeta. Then
Gunopeta.
Gunopeta. Another example could be Parama Utkrishta. Then
Paramokrishta. Paramotkrishta.
Paramotkrishta. Yeah. So, any questions till now? I think it's very simple. These sandhis are quite simple. You know, it's daily use sandhi. Okay, something for here. Okay. Brahma, Rishi. Then
Marshi.
Brahmar. Yeah. So likewise, these sandhis are done. So these
So
were.
any specific.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. So any specific word starting with re, long.
Actually, it is very rare. Very rare. The long re words are very rare. Means till now, as an independent word, I have never seen an independent word which starts with a long re. So if I get across, then of course I'll surely share it. But till now, I have never seen a word which is starting with the long re. So yeah. So this was Guna Sandhi. So sutras for this from Harinamamrita Vyakaran is. Can anyone tell this sutra here? The old students. What can be the sutra here from Harinamamrita Vyakaran? I think they. So this is Advayam. Advayam Idvay A. So this is the sutra from Jiva Goswami Harinamamrita Vyakaran. Advayam Idvay A. It means that Advayam, when followed by Idvay. So we know Dvaya, right? Dvaya by now. So Dvaya simply means the set of two corresponding letters like Atmakas. So A and A are Dvaya, E and the long E is Dvaya, and so on. So Advaya, when followed by Idvaya, turns into A. So this is Jiva Goswami's Harinamamrit Vyakaran. The sutra for this is Udvay O. So when Advaya is followed by Udvaya, it turns into O. So we see here Udvay O.
So here the sutra is only Udvayo. Udvayo,
Actually,
Udvayo.
Advaya is understood here.
Oh, okay.
Advaya is like a ghost. It's known as Anuvritti. So when something is in repetition, so the sutrakaras, the persons who write sutras, they don't repeat the repetitive part. It's understood that it is to be implied or to be known. So this is a ghostly thing here. And the sutra for this is
Ridvayam Ar.
Ridvay Ar. Yeah. So when Advaya is followed by Ridvaya, then the combination of both changes into Ar. So we did the examples. So till now, all the sandhis which we did, it was only Adesha till now. If you see it scrutinizingly, then you will get to know that we didn't come across Agama or any example of Lopa. We just did sandhis which implied or implicated the usage of Adesha. We substituted one or two words at a time. So till now we are working on Adesha on the sandhis. So any questions on this sandhi part which we covered today or which was covered in the previous classes? Any questions? Otherwise we'll move to the next part. So the
any specific reason for it to be called as guna? Means Dirgh we understand because it becomes the Trivikrama. Any specific reason for the nomenclature guna?
Guna means so these conversions like A, O, R, they are known as guna sangyas. Guna just means like the letters A, the letter O, the letter R. They are converted into their forms by usage of some words. So this is just guna. Means there is no special implication here. It's just like guna sandhi. So like a and advai idvai they turn into a. So this is only guna sandhi, and there is no further to be known aspect of this part like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that. So okay. ऐश्वर्या माता जी समझ में आ रहा है? आपको इंग्लिश जमता है ना?
जी बाबू जी, इंग्लिश मुझे समझ में आ रहा है अच्छे से। मैंने एक्चुअल में वो पहला क्लासेस नहीं देखा, तो अभी मैं कनेक्ट नहीं कर पा रही हूँ ज्यादा, पर मैं अभी रिवीजन करूंगी, देखूंगी, तो फिर सब हो जाएगा क्लियर।
पर आज जो हमने अभी संधि पढ़ी है वो तो कुछ समझ में आई होगी, मतलब सिंपल है शायद से।
जी बाबू जी, समझ में आ रही है। हाँ, मैं कंफर्टेबल हूँ इंग्लिश में, ऐसा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
मतलब इफ यू हैव गॉट एनी प्रॉब्लम देन यू मे।
नो 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 नो, नहीं।
Okay, and Abhinandan Nitai Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I had gone through the previous videos, so it is clear.
So it's clear, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, okay. So we'll move to the next part of our class, which is just a minute. Yeah. So are you able to see this white board here?
Yes.
Yeah. So every time we cover a verse from Bhagavad Gita. So today we already covered 2 shlokas. We covered 2, right?
Yes, true. We covered 2.
Yeah, so today will be the third verse. Pashyitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim. This is the third verse, right?
Yeah.
Yudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena. Okay. So basically, what we are trying to do in our class is to go both through the theoretical and the practical aspect simultaneously, so that we'll be able to grasp and understand the things better. Otherwise, only the theory makes it little dry, थोड़ा सूखा बना देता है. फिर ऐसा लगता है कि बस that's all. But we wish that everyone gets to know the intricacies of the grammar, and so that they can play around with the scriptures, meaning to relish the words, the scriptures, and so on. Okay, so this is the third verse from the first shloka. So we'll go word by word, and we'll understand the meaning of each word. So we'll start. So the first word is, which is the first word? Can anyone tell?
Pashya.
Okay, we'll take the full word. Pashyitam. Is it a one word or there are two words here? Any guess?
2 words.
2 words.
Oh, 2 words. So what are the 2 words?
Pashya etam.
Yeah. So first is Pashya, and then we'll take etam. Maybe we can take here as well. Etam. So what is Pashya?
To see.
Okay, to see. Is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it adjective or is it participle? What is this? Was it?
Verb.
Yeah, it is a verb. Okay, this is a verb. And can anyone tell what is the root, the stem verb here?
Drish.
Yeah, this is Drish. This is very intelligent answer. Generally, someone may say Pash, but this is actually Drish. Drisher Pashya. So Drish converts into Pash, and then the form comes as Pashya. But the root is Drish, which means to see. Drish means to see. Yes. And anything else? Yeah. Yes. So the meaning of Pashya is behold, as Prabhupada writes, or see. It is an instruction sort of. Duryodhan is instructing Dronacharya. Behold, see, dekho. So it means behold or see. Okay. The next word is etam. What is this? A noun, verb, participle, pronoun. What is it? This
Pronoun.
this is a pronoun. Yeah, this is a pronoun, or in Sanskrit you may say it as Visheshana. No, not Visheshana actually. Sarvanam. This is Sarvanam in Sanskrit. And okay, which case is this? Can anyone tell? कौन सा विभक्ति है? Which case? Which vibhakti is this? This is 2.1.
Second.
Yeah, this is 2.1. 2 stands for Dvitiya vibhakti, and 1 stands for singular, ekvachan. So 2.1. And etam, the meaning of etam is this.
Prabhu, what is the word for which this is vibhakti? Like we
Okay,
have
okay,
vibhaktis.
okay. So the root word, the stem is etat.
Okay.
Yeah, the stem is etat. Then we add the 2.1 vibhakti, and the form comes as etan. Okay.
Thanks.
The next word is Pandu Putranam. Okay. Okay. Pandu Putranam. So what is the original word?
Panduputra.
Yeah, Pandu Putra is the original word actually. Pandu Putra. And is this a noun? Is this a verb or what else?
Noun.
Yeah, this is a noun. And which case is this? Okay, who memorized the Krishna table from the old students?
I
Any,
memorized partially.
partially.
Trying to miss it. I've been trying it, so I'm not confident to say now, right now. But tomorrow I hope to be confident.
The aim of life is to remember and memorize Krishna. So if you cannot memorize Krishna, then Shrama eva hi kevalam. I'm just joking. So, anyways,
This is
if you,
6.3.
uh-huh,
6.3.
yeah, this is 6.3. So, if you memorize Krishna table, so the Krishna table goes like this. Just a minute. Yeah, you're able to see the screen, right? Here, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So, Krishna, 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 and then when you come to the Shashti Vibhakti, Krishnasya Krishnayoha Krishna Nam. So, because this Krishna word is akaranta, word ending in with the letter a, short a. Similarly, the Panduputra ends with the short a. So, Panduputra Nam is 6.3 case. So, what is the meaning here?
Of the putras of sons of Pandu.
Yeah, of the sons of Pandu. Right. संबंध का कर्ता ने कर्म को करण से संप्रदान के लिए अपादान से एंड संबंध का. So in English it means of the sons of Pandu.
Prabhu, just one humble request. If we can add the masculine, neuter, or feminine for the noun in bracket.
Okay, okay. So okay. So this is feminine. Sorry. This is masculine for sure. Okay. Yeah. Then the next word is acharjo. In Bangla, they'll pronounce it as acharjo. Am I right, Padma Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
Acharjo. Anyways, so is it a noun or verb or what else?
Noun.
This is a noun. And which vibhakti is it?
I think 8 means Sambodhan kind of. I'm just guessing.
Okay, anyone else? Any guess? It can be 8.1 or what can it be? Again, if you remember the Krishna table, if you see the Sambodhana, it's Krishna and there is no Visarga H with a dot below at the end. It's pure Krishna, Sambodhana. So similarly, Acharya is Akaranta. So the forms for Acharya goes likewise the Krishna word. So this is 8.1. It's a Sambodhana. So Duryodhana is addressing his guru. Hey Acharya. Hey Acharya. So this is 8.1. It means, and it's masculine of course, and it means O Acharya, O teacher. Yeah. The next is Okay, just a side note. So what is the difference in this acharya and this acharya?
Acharya. Acharya. It is Prathama.
Uh-huh. So this is
1.1.
Yeah, this is 1.1. This is subject, nominative, Prathama Vibhakti, and this is
8.1.
8.1. So just a slight difference is in 1.1 we add a visarga, and in Sambodhana there is no visarga. That's all. Otherwise the form is quite similar. So, but here we don't have any visarga. So next word is Mahatim. So is it a noun or what?
Mahatim.
Uh-huh. Noun, verb, or
Adjective, is it?
okay. So it's a basically it's an adjective. Actually, it's also a noun. So it's a karma visheshana here actually. Because the next word is chamum. Chamum is a noun for sure, but it's an object, karma. And mahatim is a visheshan, is an adjective of chamum, isn't it? Like chamum means, what does chamum means? Anyone?
Army. Army.
Yeah, army, of course. Soldiers, army. So chamu means army. It's a noun and it's an object here in this verse. And this is 2.1. And Mahatim describes what type of chamu. What is the speciality of chamu? So Mahati means large, great. So that's why, although it's a noun, but here we consider it as a karma visheshana. It's a speciality of the karma. Okay. So this is also 2.1. One thing to note is, while going through the verses, the vibhaktis of Visheshana and Visheshya should be same. Then only a Visheshana can be called as a Visheshana of the Visheshya. If the vibhaktis are something different of Visheshana than what the Visheshya contains, then that cannot be the adjective of that Visheshya. Are you able to get this point?
Yes.
The vibhaktis should be same of the Visheshanas as per the Visheshya. Visheshya means it can be a noun, it can be an karta, it can be karma, and so on. But the Visheshana should have the same vibhaktis. So Chamum is 2.1 and Mahatim is also 2.1. Dvitiya vibhakti and ekvachana. So that's why it's a karma visheshana.
Prabhu, just one quick question. Like the karma, the visheshana.
Yes.
Always follows in like normally when we do anvay when we do for a shloka, then
I'm sorry.
Sometimes we change shlokas. Some connecting word is somewhere else, in poetic language. But this visheshan always follows is followed by the visheshya.
It's not a hard fast rule. It can be, the visheshana can be in the first line, the visheshya can be in the fourth line. It's not a hard fast rule in Sanskrit.
So in that case, like sometimes, suppose I talk about Vyudham, Mahatim Vyudham, suppose. So if Mahatim is for Chamu and Mahatim is just before Vyudham, so how can we recognize that it is for Chamu?
Yeah, we'll cover Vyudham and then we'll know these three words.
Okay.
Just a minute. So Mahatim is feminine and Chamum is also feminine. Okay. Any question till here? Then the next one, the next word is Vyudham. So Vyudham is a noun or is a verb or what? So, of course, it is a noun, but okay, let's just write it as a noun. No issue writing it as a noun. It's a noun for sure, but it's also a karma visheshana. How? The main object is Chamum, which means the army. So the first description of the army was Mahatim, that the army is not small, it's a big army. The next Visheshana is Vyudham. Vyudham means, in Hindi, in Sanskrit, we say Vyuh. Vyuh means an array. Just, are you able to see this dictionary here?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you see Vyuh, it means military array. Array means, the particular positions in which the army is arranged. So this is array. So what kind of army is the army? Okay, what's the antonym of array? Array. Disarray. Okay, disarray. So is the army not properly organized? No, it's properly organized. But still, the word Vyudham rotates around the word Chamum. If we remove the word Chamum from the verse and if we only have the word Vyudham, that an array, a properly placed, but properly placed what? A properly placed Chamum. Are you able to get the point, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Means still the main object is Chamum. So Chamum can be, okay, the soldiers are resting. It can be assumed that, okay, the soldiers are resting. The army is, dismantled or disarrayed. But no, it says that the Chamum is properly arrayed, properly positioned. So Vyudha means a properly positioned and Chamum, the army. So
Okay,
this is also a karma visheshana here.
So we have added word military just in contextual way. Because
Yes. Because if you use the word view,
okay,
then view means just a circle or something like that, an arrayed thing, a properly situated thing.
Okay.
So military is just a circumstantial thing here. Okay. But the main translation is array. And it's also a feminine thing. Okay. And this is also 2.1. The next word is Drupada Putrena. So what is the root word here or the original word?
Drupada Putra.
Yeah, Drupada Putra. Okay, again, this is also a Krishna Vat word.
Yeah.
3.1.
Yeah, this is 3.1. And what does it mean?
By the son of Drupada.
Yeah, by the son of, Karta ne karma ko karan se. So this is karana. Karan se. Ya ke dwara. So this is by the son of Drupada. Okay. Of course, this is masculine. Drupada Putra. The next word is Tava. Okay, what is Tava?
pronoun.
Mm-hmm. Tava is a pronoun. And which case is this? Can anyone guess?
Yes,
For
Sambodhan.
No, this is not Sambodhana.
first case,
This is 6.1.
okay.
Of you, you know, of you. Tava means of you. So even Tava Katha Amritam Tapta Jivanam. The Katha Mrit of you, the Gopi said. So Tava means of you. And okay, what is the original word of Tava? Can anyone guess?
Two.
I'm sorry?
Two.
No, tu is in Hindi, tu, not in Sanskrit.
Tat.
Uh-huh.
Tat.
Yeah, this is Tat. From Tat, it becomes Tava. So this is masculine again. So the table goes like Saha Taute Tam Tautan Tena Tabhyam Tai Tab and Tasma. No, sorry. The table is Aham Tvam, okay. Tvam, Tvam, Tvaya, Tubhyam, Tvat, Tava. Tava. Okay, sorry, this is not Tat actually. This is Yushmad. This is Yushmad actually, the root word. So from Yushmad, the table goes like Tvam, then 1.1 is Tvam, 2.1 is Tvam, 3.1 is Tvaya, 4.1 is Tubhyam, 5.1 is Tvat, and 6.1 is Tava, and 7.1 is Tvai. I'll share, gradually we'll study that table also. So this is Yushmat, not Tat. Okay. Then the next word is Shishena. Okay. What is it?
Shishya.
No, noun,
Noun.
verb, proverb. Yeah, this is a noun. Which case?
3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. And what is the original word?
Yeah.
Shishya. What does it mean?
By your disciple.
By disciple, literally. Because your came here. Your means your came here. Of you can also mean your. No issue. By disciple. And this is a masculine word. Okay. What kind of Shishya? Dhimata. Yeah, Dhimata. Okay. What is it?
Adjective.
Yeah, this is an adjective. And okay, what else? Which case? Okay, what is the original word? Any guess here? What is the original word?
Ghee,
I'm sorry?
ghee, Prabhuji.
No. The original word is Dhimat. The original word is Dhimat. From Dhimat, the table becomes like Dhiman, Dhimantav. Like Buddhimat is the word, then Buddhiman, Buddhimantav, Buddhimantah, Buddhimantam, Buddhimantav, Buddhimataha, Buddhimata. Buddhimata is 3.1. Similarly, Dhimat, Dhiman, Ityadi, and 3.1 goes Dhimata. So this is Dhimat, and this is 3.1. Again, because Dhimata is an adjective for Shishyena, that's why the cases are same. It's also 3.1, Karana, Tritiya Vibhakti, Ekvachana, and Dhimata is also Tritiya Vibhakti, Ekvachana. And it means, what does it mean?
Intelligent.
Yeah, intelligent. Or literally, one who possesses intelligence. Because this mat or wherever you say see Bhagavat, like in Bhagavat, it means the possessor, one who possesses. In this case, dhi. Dhi means buddhi, and mat means one who possesses. So one who possesses intelligence. Or in Bhagavat, Bhaga means the six opulences, as explained in the scriptures. So Bhaga means opulences, and Vat means the possessor, one who possesses. So one who possesses the six opulences is known as Bhagavat, which in 1.1 becomes Bhagavan. So is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, now quickly we'll do the Anvaya. Okay. So now we have to be very active and we'll do the Anvaya here. Okay. So the style of doing Anvaya is very simple. You find the Kriya first of all in the verse. So can anyone tell how many verbs are there in the verse? And
One.
just a minute. You can see, take help from here. Okay. How many verbs are there? And what is that verb?
One verb is there in Pashya.
Okay, that is Pashya. Right. So one verb is there and that is Pashya. We'll change the color. Pashya. Now the interesting thing is in Anvaya, doing Anvaya. Anvaya means to simplify the verse and to understand it as normally we understand other languages. You know, simple sentence, the subject, the object, etc. So when we find out the kriya, the verb, then everything in the verse should revolve around this verb. So Pashya. So okay, Pashya means to see. What is to be seen?
Chamum.
Yeah, chamum is the right word. Right. Pashya means to see, and what is to be seen is chamum. Let's change the color. Yeah. Chamum. Okay. Now, what kind of chamum? What are the visheshanas of chamum?
Mahatim and Vyudha.
Yes. Yes. Mahatim. And Vyudham. So these are the visheshanas for chamum. Okay. Who's chamum? किसकी है?
Pandu Putranam.
Pandu Putranam, right. So this is a style I learned from one of my teacher of Sanskrit recently. This is a very good style of simplifying the verse. So Pandaputra now let's make it. So the Chamu of the Panduputras. Okay. Anything else about Chamum in the verse? Any pronoun for Chamum? Etam. Etam is a pronoun for Chamum. Okay. Yeah. Now who formed that Chamu?
Drupadaputra.
Yeah, Drupadaputra. So the Sanskrit term is Drupadaputrena. So it will be connected to Chamu directly. Drupadaputrena. Okay. And what more about Drupadaputra?
Dhimata.
He's intelligent, right? So he's intelligent. He's Dhimata. So this is Dhimata. And what else?
Tava Shishya.
Uh-huh.
Tava Shishya.
Okay, so he's Shishyena first of all. Shishyena. And who's Shishya?
Tava.
Tava. Then Tava is connected further to Shishya actually. Mhm. Anything else left? And now we only are left with the Acharya, the Sambodhana. So Sambodhana is an independent thing. It is not connected with anything. It's just an independent thing. So Hey Acharya. Let's make it proper. Hey Acharya. So this is the Anvaya. Hey Acharya. Pashya, behold, see. What shall I see? Chamum, the army, the great army, an arrayed great army. This arrayed great army of Panduputras, which is formed by the son of Drupada, who is intelligent and who is disciple of you. So, and that's how the verse gets simpler. Any question in this verse?
Prabhu, like when we write again in Anvaya form, so it will be like Acharya Pashya. Matlab how it will, we will write in singles.
Okay, in Anvaya it will go like Acharya Tava Shishyena. No, sorry. Okay, Tava Shishyena Dhimata Drupada Putrena Vyudham Panduputranam Etam Mahtim Chamum Pashyat.
Okay.
Because although Drupada Putra is connected to Chamum, but it can also be connected with Vyudham. Because in specific, he formed the formation, that array of that army. So, so it can be connected to Vyudham. So again, Acharya, hey Acharya, Tava Shishyena, Tava Dhimata Shishyena. Dhimata can be adjective for Shishya here. And then Shishya can further be an adjective of Drupada Putra. So Tava Dhimata Shishyena, Drupada Putrena, Vyudham, Panduputranam, Etam Mahatim Chamum Pashya.
Okay.
Okay.
Prabhu, if you don't think like it will take much time, can you write it down like you have written?
Okay, just a minute. Okay, Acharya. Tava Dhimata Shishyena Drupada Putrena. Sorry. Putrena Vyudham. Vyudham Pandu छात्राणां
It's 8 o'clock.
एतां महतीं चमूं पश्य. That's all, right?
Okay, thanks.
So I'll post it, this whole thing in group, so you can also look at it at another time. So any more questions from anyone? किसी का कोई प्रश्न है इस पे? कुछ बताना, पूछना, anything? So okay, so we'll finish it here. Sorry for a little delay. So and we'll meet the same time, 6:45 sharp tomorrow evening. So we don't have any more questions, any comment, any suggestions. So we'll start it tomorrow the same. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Hare Krishna.